I was just listening to a reader and she was talking about, I guess she was talking about how somebody's starting to receive their karma, like what they put out, they're starting to get back. And it wasn't nice. They weren't putting out nice. They were, she was just saying like it's like they always thought they were better than everybody else. And they mocked others and put them down and made fun of them when they weren't doing well and just mean, just like out and out cruel. And as she was describing it, she kept saying, okay, right? But almost like, how do I say it? It's like almost like she wanted the listener to, and she wasn't trying to be mean, but it almost was like she was trying to make the listener like feel better or something. Like apparently this person had done it to them and they would somehow get relief knowing the person was going through karma. And every time she said, okay, I kept like getting a tinge like, oh God, no, not okay. Like God's will be done. Like I'm not getting involved in universal law. I'm not looking to step in front of anybody's karma anymore. I've learned my lessons. And yet I never wish ill upon anybody. You know, it's like you really have no idea what's going on with people. And it's like everybody has to figure it out on their own. But that was what then they started to show me. It's like this idea of, you know, change is not always a bad thing. I feel like for some reason, it's like people forget that they're constantly changing and they can either choose to change and move and evolve in the way they want to, or they can get swept up in life and have life change and choose for them, which is usually then you're dying. It's like you're either thriving and growing or you're surviving and dying. And when you're not in charge, when you're not consciously choosing, meaning you're not being true and aligned with you, honoring you, loving you, being honest with you, then you're going to end up getting bumped on the head. You're going to start to get karma. And it's essentially, it's the backlash. And yet, so people often, I think, run from that or run, it's, I'm having a hard time seeing exactly how they want me to say this, where it's, this is like one more reason not to interfere with universal law. Like allow everybody to go through what they're going through. We can see they're struggling at times. So one, they have to ask for the help and be seeking out and looking for the help, in that they have to want to change. And so then they're likely not going to get the help they want per se, right? It's like the quick, easy fix help, getting them out of the whatever current struggle that they're dealing with based on their own decisions. They're getting the consequences of them. If you got them out of that immediately, one, you're interfering with the universal law in that they're not actually ever going to learn the lesson. And then you're not helping them actually. You think you are. But that ache, that pain, that thing they continue to call in because they haven't figured out what their wound is, they haven't figured out what their problem is, they haven't figured out that they're operating from their ego, then is going to get bigger and louder and bigger and louder. So essentially, you're hurting them. So every time you think you're, quote, saving them, going in, fixing it and putting a Band-Aid on it, you're actually hurting on them. You're hurting them because it's like stockpiling the spanking that's coming from them. So ultimately, it ends up being mean, right? This is why people have to want the help and they have to want to continuously figure out what it means so that they can empower themselves. We need to empower ourselves by understanding ourselves and loving ourselves and figuring out what the fuck that means and seeing where we're not loving ourselves, seeing where our blind spots are. And I've shared with you many a times, I always hesitate to say this part, it's not always easy because it hasn't been for me. I find it was, and it continues to be at times, but there was a large portion where it was really a struggle for me. It was really quite a challenge to really dive in and take a look and admit all of my shortcomings and really see them. Because when we're standing in our blind spot, we don't think we're an asshole. We don't. And when your intention, your heart is, you're not coming, like when you're not coming from the angle of intentionally being an asshole, but then you're shown you're an asshole, it fucking stings. It hurts. It's hard to swallow. It's hard to accept. It's hard to take that accountability. And yet when you do, one, you feel better, but then it doesn't get easier because now you have to start making changes. Now you do know. Now you do know. So if you continue to make those same patterns, those same actions, those same decisions, now that you know better, now that you know that is not, that's coming from a wound, that's coming from a selfish, meaning an egotistical, arrogant, wrong alignment, then it's almost like your smack is going to be that much harder. It's something like, that's the guilt and the shame that's going to weigh on you so heavy because you know better now. And so the mental battle to get through that, and that just keeps building. So it's this idea of like, to me, it always comes back to square one, right? Like back to the beginning. You got to fully love and honor yourself. And just by doing that, by continually doing that, by continually standing in your truth, by continually coming back into your own alignment, by continually loving yourself, it sets the example. And people can choose to take it as an example, as a warning, as however they want to see whatever is true and honest for them, whatever feels best for them. But that's the best you can offer people, is truth and clarity for what's true and clear for you. That's it. And keep it moving. Everybody's got to do it themselves. It's the idea of like they have to, they're showing something. It's like circumcise the spirit, right? It's like the idea of cutting off the ego. It is the idea of like severing that, so that the idea of you running your show, not your mind running you. You have to take the lead. You have to decide. You have to be in charge. And then you're going to have to practice that too. In other words, some of these things can be easy fixes, but I think it does matter. You know, it's funny. I was going to say, I think it does matter on your age, just meaning how long you've been standing in the blind spot or how long you've been operating from your wound, right? Some people maybe only had a small wound or a little wound, or I think we all have them. And I think some people just become aware or enlightened sooner to these dynamics so that they're able to heal and continuously do that shadow work, continuously realign with themselves and operate from that space. And yet others don't until they're so much older that it feels more challenging, but I don't know that it necessarily is more challenging. I think it's more of a matter of, what's the saying? It's like hard to teach old dogs new tricks, this idea, where it's just simply that they have gotten so comfy, cozy, so familiar, so comfortable in that, let's just say, devious way, that to make a change at that point when they have worn that pathway to such an autopilot is going to feel so much more challenging. Though it may not necessarily be. It may still be the same. Let's just say it takes you 30 days to rewire any one singular pathway, right? And so it's the same amount of work if you've sat in that horrific lie for 50 years or for 5 years. Yet if somebody in the 50 year, they've worn that pathway down so much, it's actually a hole. So they might be able to start a new pathway after 30 days. But if they get even close to that old pathway, it's not grown over because it's still a fucking hole. So they're more likely or more easily to fall back into that damn hole. Where somebody else who had only been doing it for 5 years, they started a new pathway, they've been continue on that way. If they get close to that old pathway, they're not likely to fall into it. It's likely actually already grown over. They forgot it's there. They don't even see it. It would actually be inconvenient for them to have to walk on that old pathway because it's no longer a pathway. The grass has grown up over it. Trees are starting to pop up around it. So it's not even something they notice anymore. Does that make sense? So it's like, it's up to you. The sooner you're willing to take a look, the sooner you're willing to truly love yourself, the sooner you're willing to look at what that actually means, it will likely feel less challenging. Doesn't mean it's not going to be challenging. It just means it's like the idea of setting yourself up for success, right? It's like willing to do it before it does you. Because that happens too, where sometimes it's the idea of like you get the nudge, you get the warning, you get the tap on the shoulder, you get the, things start to get louder and louder. And then the next thing you know, you're down and out, right? You're riddled with cancer, or you're riddled with something else. And it's just all this horrific stuff starts happening. And the universe is just trying to get your attention that you're not loving yourself, you're not honoring yourself, you're not in your own alignment. You've continued down a pathway for so long, they don't know what else to do to get your attention. Like, what is it? What's the problem? And at that point, it is like you're now riddled with so many other distractions and problems. Now it is so much more challenging to get out of your own way. Right? Like you've likely added in more problems. They're showing me like my knee and how my one leg, and so they're trying to get me to see and say like how other muscles have had to start compensating in certain ways. And so it's like, oh yeah, because you didn't address that soon enough. Now you have a series of these other issues that you have to address. It's like the issues continue to grow until you get to the root of the problem. You can solve it. You can fix the one problem. But if you're not addressing the root problem, what's really the problem? Like, let's just say, because it usually boils down to the fact that you don't think you're worthy. If you don't get down to that and figure out all the weeds and the stems and the bullshit that's grown off of that root, and you don't pull that root out completely, and input and implant the correct plant that you are worthy, you are good, you are part of the divine, and that means you got to start behaving as such. If you don't do that, it's going to be more and more weeds are going to grow out. So then there's going to be more and more things you're going to have to look at, and more things you're going to have to continuously address. And it's exhausting. It's exhausting. Right? Because then sorry, they're showing so many analogies right now, and I think they're all leading back to the same thing, but I'm getting tired. So I'm going to jump off. What was the whole point? What was the whole point when you had me come on? Don't get involved in universal, right? Like don't step in somebody else's karma. Like don't interfere with universal law, and change isn't always a bad thing. So if you're going through what you perceive as karma, don't like fuss and fight about. Be like, okay, it's time for me to take a look. It's time for me to take a look. What's going on? What are my thoughts? What am I telling myself? Where is it stemming from? What is my shadow? Where am I not loving myself? Where am I lying to myself? Where is my ego blocking me? What is going on? What is going on? Who is running this show, right? Is it your ego, the devil inside of you, the last input you put in that was faulty information? It was still input that was put in when you were 5, when you were 8, when you were 10, when you were 15. Like, what's happening in there? And what's piled on top of it so much so that you can't even see? You didn't realize you were still behaving in such a manner for so long. Okay. Thanks so much for tuning in and listening. You can now purchase an audio journey with me using the link below.